So hello everyone. So today we are mainly going to discuss in Devops like what is your waterfall model? Okay, what is your agile model, and how DevOps came into the picture, guys. Okay, so let me start with the waterfall model, and then I'll take you through the integration part of all these tools together, which we have discussed yesterday's session. Okay, so today we are mainly going to discuss about the agenda of today's session will be your you can say what is your waterfall model, what are the drawbacks of waterfall model, why we have moved on from your waterfall model to your agile model. Most of the companies are doing today's in current scenarios. Okay, and then some of the organizations are already moved on to this DevOps culture. Okay, so agile is nothing but agile is also a kind of culture, you can say it's a way of working. Okay, so yeah. So Sumit, Pavan, are you able to understand my point?
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so first we'll go what is waterfall model. Okay, fine. Or you can say this one is also called as your SDLC. Okay, so guys, according to you, I have uh, like that if you have any idea related to this waterfall model, or if you during your engineering time you have gone through, right, we have gone through this waterfall model. If you know anything like what exactly it is, if you doesn't know also, then it's fine. I'm here to tell you what exactly waterfall model. Pavan or anyone like Sumit, if you can tell me, if you little bit also, if you know something, or if you don't know something, that is also fine, absolutely fine. Okay, so any idea about this one, guys? Pavan and Sumit.
So, Abhishek, I just studied about it some time back, but now I'm not sure if I'll be right or not. So,
Okay.
basically, waterfall model is the collection of steps. When we have different steps in a project like requirement gathering and then coding and testing everything. So,
Correct.
it's just like the waterfall. The water is flowing downwards, and there is
Yes.
no chance that the water can go up. So that means in waterfall model, whatever project or task has been assigned, there is
Correct.
no scope of discussion with the client. Basically, we keep on working on the project, and
Correct.
only when the project has been completed, then the result will be delivered to them.
Correct.
So now, if they are not satisfied, then in between we didn't had discussion. So we will not be able to work on any shortcoming.
Correct. Correct. So whatever you have said, Sumit, is absolutely correct. Okay. So Pavan, if you have any idea related to this waterfall model.
Yeah, Abhishek. SDLC means Software Development Life Cycle.
Yeah.
So here we have some steps like requirement gathering, then code analysis, then after that coding, then testing,
Yes.
then after that
Correct.
deployment.
Correct.
So different phases are there, and the way I mean drawback of this model is like every step it will be fixed. Like suppose requirement when the requirement is fixed, so we will go ahead for the coding.
Yes.
So
Correct.
time delay, even if the requirement is fixed and we are develop the code, we can't like go back to like after developing the code, testing, even deployment. If we want to change after that, so it is a
Correct.
very painful process to change that like
Yes.
coding and all.
Yes. Absolutely fine. So, guys, it's very clear to you guys. You are aware of waterfall model. Not only aware, you have good knowledge in waterfall model. Okay, according to me. So, all of you are in the same page. So, just I'll give you a kind of more detail if you want to learn more about this waterfall model. So, let me tell you. So, waterfall model is nothing but it's a software development life cycle. Okay, and waterfall model is a sequential model, okay, or you can say it's divided into software development into phases. Means what we are doing, just you guys are telling, like requirement gathering will be there, okay, requirement analysis will be there, then it's move on to the design part, like where we'll be doing the system design, then we'll be moving to the implementation part, right? And then we'll be doing the system testing and like moving ahead, and we were doing the system deployment, and finally the maintenance part will come at the end. Okay, so basically it's a approach. Okay, the waterfall model, it's a approach, you can say, but the approach is sequential, means step by step only. So how it's look like, so let me show you. And there is also one thing, waterfall model has introduced very long back ago, okay, when it's around 1970. I'll note it down so you'll remember how it came, where and when it came. 1970, this waterfall model came into picture, and the father, or you can say the person who introduced this waterfall model, is your Winston Royce. Okay, Winston Royce. Okay, so this is the guy who introduces this waterfall model. Okay, so if waterfall model has the advantages, then it has some disadvantages also. So advantages, obviously it has more, but according to the current situation and scenarios, it has more disadvantages. Okay, so first let me draw how it's look like, and then we'll go ahead and I'll explain you little bit more about its why this we have moved on from your waterfall model to your particular agile model. Okay, so this is just for a knowledge, because you need to understand the terminology, or you can say what exactly waterfall model. No need to go much more in depth what exact, because we are not going to develop a software, or we are not going to work with the approach of waterfall model, or even with like agile model here. So we are here to do as a, like, we are going to build a DevOps culture, right? That's what our intention is, and we are here to learn more about the DevOps tool. Okay, the first phase is your requirement gathering, right? Requirement analysis, or you can say, okay, requirement gathering or requirement analysis. What we'll do in this phase, obviously we'll gather all the information from your client, or whatever the project requirement will be there, so we'll be getting all the requirement in this particular phase. Okay, going forward to the next phase, that is your system design. Okay, okay, so what is this system design? System design is nothing but how your architecture of the system will be. Okay, so what kind of a architecture you are going to build, or what kind of a infrastructure. Like normally, if you are going to build a infrastructure, or you are going to build an environment for your particular application. Okay, so what kind of a setup, or what kind of a means you can say it's like, if you talk about in term of more into layman language, right? So if you are building a house, right, so first you will put up some pillars and all, right? So or you can say you make a blueprint of that one before doing that, it's coming into practical. So you will do a blueprint of that particular building, right? So how the architecture looks like and all. So this particular phase is mostly defined for that thing only. Okay, so system design is nothing but you are going to build the architecture of that particular application environment or your infrastructure. It could be anything, it doesn't matter. It's not only your particular if you are going to build a Paytm application. Okay, it's not like that. If you are going to build an infrastructure also, you need an architecture, right? Sumit, Pavan.
Yes,
Yes, able to understand.
Okay.
Abhishek, you're right.
Okay. So yeah, guys. So next part is the implementation part. Then we have, once we come up with the requirement gathering, means we have some set of peoples will be there who, or those peoples will be taking inputs from the client for the project, right? So once they have gathered the information, they have given to the architect of that particular team, or the, or you can say designer. Our designers are nothing but these are the architects. Like you have heard about cloud architects will be there. So there is a huge demand of cloud architect. There is a huge demand of even infrastructure architects will be there, right? Yeah, for the Java architects will be also will be there, right? So it's like that. Those peoples are very top level people, so they will only do the architect design. Okay. Coming back to the next phase, that is your implementation phase. From this phase you will be start doing your coding. Okay, so some set of peoples will be there, some set of developers will be there. What they will do is, once, so yeah, so there is one thing you are observing, and you both of us told me that, okay Abhishek, like requirement gathering, until unless if you don't finish this phase, correct, until unless if you not done with this particular phase, you cannot jump into this phase, right? You cannot jump into this phase. So once you need to complete this particular phase only, and then you need to jump into this particular phase, right? Correct. And then you need to jump into this particular implementation part. So this is the biggest drawback of this, you can say, sequential model, or
Yeah, Abhishek.
this waterfall model. Okay. Other part. Okay, so let me first put all these things together. So here the system testing will be there. Okay, and then it will be your deployment. Okay, fine. And then finally your maintenance will be there. Okay, so it's a sequential model. I'll take it like okay. Fine. So once the requirement gathering will be completed, the next phase will be going to your system design. Okay, those are the architects, those are the high level people, they will do the system design. Then going forward from here, it will goes to the implementation part. Implementation part has been taken care by your developers. Team of developers will be there. So the once they will get, okay, fine, you have done with the architect design, you have get some kind of a module. You need to design Paytm particular one, suppose one tab you need to develop, or one particular module you need to develop, or some kind of a form you need to develop for the Paytm application, right? So there will be different modules will be there for that Paytm application. So that has to go to your coder. So coder will start coding that particular modules. Okay, so until unless they have not done with the coding, means once they are, it's not like that parallelly this particular requirement gathering is also going on, then the architect is also doing the system design and parallelly the coders are also started coding, correct? So no, it's not like that. It's a sequential approach only. Once these guys will complete, then only these guys will be coming into the picture. So it's going to take lot of days, and it consumes lot of time. And ultimately who is going to suffer here? Ultimately your customer is going to suffer here, because he has to spend time and money both here. Okay, fine. So if you, from there it's going to the system testing team. Okay, so once your coder has done with that coding, they will forward it to the testing team. Testing team has done with the particular testing, whether they are using Selenium, whether they are using SonarQube, or any kind of a testing tool, functional testing or unit testing, right? So different kind of a testing will be there. Then it will be going to the deployment phase. Okay, and finally maintenance. So here this is very important, guys. The maintenance part has been taken care by, and the deployment part has been taken care by the operations guys. Okay, so these are the very low level guys. Okay, normally their main job is to run the application 24 into 7. That's what their job is, to generate the revenue. Okay, but if any issues come or any bug will come, then it will be a big headache for all these guys, whether it's a developer, whether it's a architect, or whether it's people who is having, suppose your customer is coming and he's telling I have to add another feature into this one, so again there will be a, or it's going to be a full headache for all these people. Okay, and other thing is, if suppose something went wrong with the application, so everybody start blaming whom? Maintenance will blame the deployment team will blame the testing. That's what happened, right, earlier. Suppose if your database is having some issue, it's not running, so they'll tell, no, these guys have done the wrong configuration, right? Then it will come to the network team. I check with the network team is telling, no, 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 we have done everything correct. They'll go to the finally the testing team, no, the application is not able to bear the load only, so it's a problem, they have not done the testing. So each blame game will start. Who is going to suffer? Your customer is going to suffer here. Okay, so this is like your waterfall model. Yeah.
Abhishek, sorry to interrupt. Abhishek, you
Yeah.
just said that the deployment or which part has been taken care by another team now. So what was
Yeah,
that?
so no, what I'm telling is deployment and maintenance has been both taken care by your operations team only. Because see, the application once it
Okay,
is
okay,
ready,
okay.
okay, ops team will be there, right? So ops teams are nothing but these are the Linux guys, or you can say these are the system integration. SI team will be there, right? You have heard about this terminology. So what they'll do, they'll go to the
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
server
process
and
support guys.
yeah, so SI team will be there and they will do the deployment, right? And then maintenance part will come. So maintenance is nothing but like application support, the low level, right? Peoples will do, and even Linux peoples will also do this. Even
Yeah,
I have done this kind of a things earlier, like I said, right? So how I came from here, from the bottom to up. Okay. So always it's better to understand what exactly, from where the revenue is generating, right? Main thing is your revenue only, right? So who is responsible to get the revenue, to make your system up and running? Your operations team only. So the main drawback of this entire SDLC model is error can be fixed only during the phase. Suppose in during the requirement gathering, if you are not able to get proper requirement, you need to do in the same phase, like Pavan was saying, right? You need to, whether it's a system design or something, if your architect is not given the correct design for that particular module or something, for that particular application, okay, it's not going to work out for these coders also, correct? So it has to fix in the same phase only. That is the biggest drawback. And the second drawback is your documentation. That is the most important thing in this waterfall model. Because what is going to be here, like requirement gathering is one thing, okay, you can go ahead and talk to the customer, okay, what kind of application you are looking for. So they'll tell, okay, I'm looking for a Paytm kind of application, so this feature will be there, people will be able to pay like this. Or they'll tell, no, if you want a phone pay kind of application. So during that requirement gathering, you need to do the documentation properly. Then only, because then system design guy, this architect will come, I don't have any documentation, how I can design an architect, how I can design a model, particular design for this particular application, right? So it's not at all possible. So all these peoples, what they'll do, they'll take so much of time for the documentation purpose only. So that documentation purpose only will take around 1 year or 2 years. Okay, so it's a big headache for the customer. Now the third and the most important point,
yeah,
that is your small changes or error, you can say during this any phase, like I was talking about, right? Once your software is completed and you want to do a small feature changes, we need to do, right? If you're you need to upgrade your application each and every time, so you have to come up with new features. You cannot stick with the same thing, right, Sumit, Pavan? So what in that case, what you need to do is, you need to create a new feature. So creating that new feature for the existing software, it's going to be a big headache, not only for the customer for all these different set of teams. Okay, guys. So this is all about your waterfall model. Okay. Now coming back to your
Uh,
yes, Sumit.
Abhishek, the last third drawback is pretty clear. Like adding a new feature, it's a big headache. And again, all the phases, stages will have to be repeated and all that blame game. But what
Correct.
was the first drawback? And I also forgot the second drawback. I mean, if you
Okay.
can please, summarize those two quickly.
Okay, okay, fine. No issues to me. The first drawback, as I said, its error can be fixed only during the phases. Okay. If suppose your system design or you can say coder, okay. So coder has start doing the coding in your IDE, like it will be a Eclipse or anything. So what he'll do, if suppose he'll face any bug or anything, so it's not like that parallelly this testing team is also working and this coding team is also working. Okay, so what in that scenario what will happen if suppose anything went wrong, so what this testing team will do, he'll suddenly forward it to the implementation team, means your coding team, and they'll say no, 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 whatever the code you have given, it has bug or it's not able to bear the load for the deployment. Okay, so this is called parallel working. But in sequential model, in this waterfall model, what will happen is this particular thing or bug has to be you can say you need to fix during the phase itself. Understand, Sumit?
Yeah, so basically, parallel work is
Exactly.
the first drawback.
Yeah, parallel work you cannot do in this sequential model. This is what. And other thing is the second part, I said it's very clear, that is the most important point in this sequential model, or you can say this waterfall model, is your documentation. So documentation, because whenever you see most of the developers are fed up of the documentation only. They'll say my manager is telling me to document this particular code wherever you are writing the code, because next time the next developer will come. Okay, so how he'll understand that what that previous developer has done with this particular application, right? So your manager will tell, okay, no, go to Confluence page and please draft everything and please make a documentation of your coding only, and during the coding also you'll make some comment, right? Those things. So that is kind of a documentation for your entire coding. So that is going to be a big headache also in this sequential model. Guys, understanding?
Got it. Got it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So these are the three major, you can say, drawbacks of this waterfall model. Okay, so let me take a this I'll share with you guys. Okay, it's look bad, right? So I'll erase this one, guys. Okay. Now the little bit changes will be there. Okay, guys, with the architecture. So try to understand this one carefully. Okay. So in the here, the first thing is your waterfall model. Correct. Fine. So once you have done with the waterfall model, okay, there is something called agile model. Okay, and this agile model comes into the picture in 2000 only. Okay, so it's come in the year of 2000 only. So I am not sure you have got a chance to work on this particular agile model or not. Okay, so guys, you have any idea about this agile model, Pavan or Sumit? Or you might have heard or you did not heard. That's fine, not an issue. Okay,
Abhishek, I
okay.
have heard, but I don't have it.
Okay, because this is very important because most of the companies are they are adopting this particular culture. Okay, that agile culture. Okay, Pavan, you have any idea about this agile culture or agile model?
Yeah, Abhishek.
Okay,
In Agile is also SDLC, software development life cycle. So here we are getting a requirement like a sprint wise. So a sprint wise means client will provide a small requirement. I can say in chunks. They are providing
good,
requirement. So with that requirement, we will follow the same process like a requirement gathering, then designing, then code, and parallelly the all comes in the sprint wise, and all the tester developer involved in that, and they are making their developer will develop the coding, and tester will start writing the means test cases and all. Parallelly, all body will involve in that environment. So the cycle, the you can say the development life cycle is little is small, and it will segregated with the sprint wise. So each sprint generally they have given a 2 week time. So
yes,
within 1 week you have to complete our development, and second week the tester will get the sufficient to time to test that code,
correct,
that
correct.
functionality.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely correct. Whatever you have said, Pavan. Okay, so let me explain both of you more into this into a layman language. You can say for this particular agile method. So agile is nothing but agile is also a way of working. Okay. So in this current situation and scenario, what is going on, because everybody don't want to waste their time into some bullshit thing which is related to documentation, which is related to once one particular phase will complete, then only you need to go to the second phase. So what they are looking something is which should be very short duration, and the work should be done parallelly, whether it's a developer, whether it's a testing. Okay, but in agile method also there is some drawbacks. Okay, but in current some of the organization, what they are doing is they are making agile way of working for their particular organization. Okay, so what they are doing is they are merging this devops with this agile only. Okay, but I'll tell you separately what exactly agile is. So agile is nothing but it's a way of working, it's a culture, or it is also you can say it's a methodology. Okay, so in this particular agile way of working, what we do is we promotes, what we promote the continuous iteration of the development and testing throughout the software development life cycle of the project. Means, suppose if you are doing the development, okay, understand my point guys very carefully here. If you are doing some development for a particular set of application, okay, so what will be there? So if the developer has doing the development, then he will do with the continuous development of that particular application in a different phases or in a different sprint, as Pavan said. So there is something called sprints. Okay, sprints are nothing but these are the duration defined for a particular phase, like whatever it is in waterfall model. Okay, so in waterfall model there is something called implementation, there is something called requirement gathering, right? So gathering itself is a phase. So that requirement gathering phase has multiple iteration means what they'll do, they are not going ahead and telling, okay, so what you will do, you need to travel, suppose Sumit has to travel from Patna to Delhi, okay, so I am not going to tell Sumit you need to do it in a day, or you need to do it, you need to do continuously the same thing, you need to start from your Patna and you need to finish on Delhi, okay, there won't be any breaks. So instead of doing that, what we'll do is, we'll tell, okay Sumit, first what you need to do is you need to go from Patna to Danapur, from Danapur to Hajipur, so take some time, take some rest, okay, complete one interval in a particular time, that is your sprints. Suppose that sprint is normally defined in Agile is 4 weeks only, it's 2 to 4 weeks. So iteration means, if suppose some of the coding is not done by the developer, they are not able to complete for that particular 4 weeks, what they will do, there will be a backlog, there will be a backlog, and they'll tell to the team, no, I have not able to complete this one in this particular sprint, whether it's a sprint 1 or sprint 2. So they will tell, okay, in the next sprint, in the next like suppose they have completed 2 weeks, so in the next 2 weeks I am able to complete that particular module. So this is called a iteration, you are doing again and again and again, you are not stopping yourself, you have divided into small, so one module is complete, done, second module is complete, done, not completed, go to the next one, again you start doing the same thing. Sumit, are you able to understand my point? So that is your continuous development is happening, right? It's a iteration, continuous iteration of your development and the testing. This is why I have written here continuous development and continuous testing. So
Okay,
the
so do you, so Abhishek, do you mean that the developers will be coding continuously, but they will also be communicating with the testing team just to know if their code has any bugs or not?
exactly, that's what the parallel work is going on for the development and the testing team, both of them. But the thing is, they have not telling. So there I said, right, suppose for the coding, if you have given Paytm application to the coding team, okay, you need to develop a Paytm application. So what they'll do, they'll take 1 to 2 years, they'll decide a time, okay, no, I'll that application will take, if 6 months also, they'll tell, no, it will take 2 years, like that. So they will give some deadline. So here the things will be like, you cannot do it like that. If you suppose, if you tell me as a developer, as a Sumit is a developer, okay, and he's coming to me and he's telling, oh Abhishek, for this button I am going to take around 5 days, then I'll say, no Sumit, because you need to complete this within a week, within this sprint, okay. So there will be some points, story points will be there, you need to create your own story point for a text field, for a form, like that you need to decide. And being a like there will be a agile course, so multiple terms will be there. So if you're going into that one, that is completely different, just understand, or head of the person will tell no, or the product owner coming into the picture, and they'll tell, no no, I cannot give you this particular time. So if you are able to this particular story will be completed in 1 or 2 day only, okay. So you said, okay fine, or if you are not able to complete, then you said, I'll complete in the next sprint, like that. So there will be a continuous iteration, there will be a continuous update, not only for you, for the team also, and for other team as well, like testing team. Now you understand, Sumit? Sumit,
Yes, Abhishek. Yes,
understand?
Abhishek. So, yeah. So that means there is a, continuous work, parallel work, and also feedbacks coming in, on
Exactly.
which you can work, on which you can always
Yes.
work.
Yes. And you
Okay.
you need to tell, okay, you are telling, okay, I am able to eat 1 kg of whatever banana, okay, but I am coming into the picture and I am telling, no, you can eat only 2 bananas only. So you created your own story point. You are telling, okay, I'll eat this 1 kg of banana in 10 days. So I said, no, we have only 2 weeks. So first what you do, you take only 2 banana. Okay. So you created your own story. You created your own thing. But coming as a product owner, I'm coming and saying that, no, 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 this is not possible. So what you'll do is, you take only 2 banana, you eat only 2 banana in 1 day. And that finish that one and update me, like that. Understand?
Yes, Abhishek.
And if you are not, suppose you are able to eat only